Quick disclaimer, this is a 21-year-old and up channel, so if you're not 21, please leave the channel now. Appreciate it. And we are live in the garden. We're just checking out the new babies popping. We're almost at 100%. And I do believe, I know I see, I put 6, 6, 7, and 7. I got all 7 over here. I've got 5, but there's 6 right there. So, and then I've got 3, 4, 5. So we're still missing 1 over here, which I think is right here somewhere. But, yeah, that's 99% germination rate. What's up, guys? What's up? What's up? I'm just looking at my newbies. Looking at some noobs over here. Almost 100% germination rate. Almost. I'm missing one seed somewhere in here from Huckleberry Hills here. But we got a couple of late ones right here. So 6, 6, 7, and 7. So I got all 7 over there, all 7. I've got all 6 in the middle, and I've got 5 here so far, missing 1. We got some spinach in here I haven't seen, but we got some carrots popping. We've got the squash popping, we've got the cucumbers popping, and we're still waiting on the tomato. I don't know if these seeds are any good though. These seeds have been through hell and back. Kind of found them in a drawer. Along with these. So, who knows if they'll pop. Tomato plant over here. It's got flower. Got some flowers there. We got flowers over here. Flowers over here. And so I put the fan on them, and that fan will pollinate these things, we hope. I don't know if we need, I don't think we have to pollinate tomato plants. And I'm not sure what, this tomato plant came in early, and we were still at 12 hours of light. It was given to me, or given to my wife actually. Somebody brought it into the yoga studio. And I was like, fuck it, give it to me. And we put it in here way too early. But we're at 15 hours of light right now. So it's just starting to flower. I'm guessing it's probably like a better boy or like a big mountains type. Probably something big. I don't think it's cherry, which is what I'm trying to grow in here. But I'll do both. I'll do both. Just going to have to, some of those big ass tomatoes can get big. Just like this sweet potato here we've already been cutting back. We've topped it multiple times. Right through here, we're going to do it again. But as you can see, it's going to run. So this is a food garden. So over here, if you're not familiar, we chopped most of it down. We've got this one left, which was the baby, which was way behind everything else, like a week behind everything else. Didn't flower for like the longest time. But flowered now. Never got very big. But the terps on it are insane. It's the stickiest plant in here. And it turns out it smells like baby shit. Like sour milk and baby shit. This is Lunar Kim from Luna Whitcomb. Just like I said, it was the runt of the litter. We just let it go. And usually the runts are quite nice. This is our 5th run in bed. So I've got these little subs. We're just trying to ripen up for some little nuggets. But at this point, we're probably going to start to re-veg these things if we don't get them out of here. This one over here, we filled the canitrol with this yesterday. All the big tops we took. And basically, it filled the canna, and we still got probably a whole nother I mean, for going through a crash, man, the nugs are just frosty as all hell. They're definitely smell. This one's the raspberry deadhead from Loon and Whitcomb. And just, yeah, the recovery was quite nice. These are just the little ones left. Just kind of sticking them up in here. Didn't see any real pest issues. Like I said, I had some scale bugs on, not this plant, but in the center. Had some scales that we had to get rid of. But, those aren't a big deal. Yeah, welcome to the show, my friend. Just looking at the little runts that are left here. We topped everything yesterday, filled up the canitrol we got. It's all in the drying. I keep them trimmed up, yes sir. As soon as I cut, all there is just a few more of these that go, and then they go right in the canitrol. I'm just trying to push terps right now. The light is what's pushing terps, so all the leaves come off. They basically have time to heal while they're still on here. Then they can come off, but the light is what we're trying to get. And the terps are grown. They need power, basically. It's the best way I can describe it if you don't know. And power comes from ding ding. They need the energy. This is why basically people are putting under canopy lights in right now. Getting that light to the underside of these buds. They get fatter, denser. It's all in the light. Shit. These things here, these Grandmaster LEDs, I mean, I've been playing with them. They, of course, they play with them too and tell you. I got my fans outside. I cleaned them. We'll go get those in a little bit. But they'll tell you basically what they've learned with them, and you can come over here and just, granted I crashed the system with this right here, so if you don't think you can crash a system with the lights, that's wrong. You can crash it. So basically I turned the deep far red and removed the cool white, and when I did that I basically torched all my algae, all the cyanobacteria, all the bacteria that eats light. I was basically just crushing it with kind of like a laser beam, killing off all my algae. And when I lose my algae, I lose my oxygen. You see the bubbles forming? That's oxygen. That's how the planet was created. You can see the grass growing right up in it, just as green as it can be. You can see some dead grass. That's from the crash. But all the new fresh green grass growing in the creek, that's all after crash. You see the dead grass through here, but all the new green it's come back. See the green in in the creek here. So we're up during the crash. I could pull this grass out, and it would smell like a swamp. I mean, the cyanobacteria that keeps all the bad bacteria from building up, like the lactic acid bacteria that cleans the creek. So we add lactic acid bacteria that helps clean the built up organic matter from the fish pond, because there is no filtration box. Like if you look at most people's aquatic systems, they all have filtration boxes. They all have, these massive tubs with these bio balls and, carbon charcoal and, all kinds of things that they use, ceramics. But they set these tubs off and the water filters through all these bio balls, and catches all the poo, and then it filtrates it, and then they dump it out in a bucket and go feed the plants the fish poo. Well, this is similar but complete opposite. So we got our pond over here with our fish and our turtles. There's Pooter. This is 150 gallons, give or take. There they are. What's up, guys? And then pumps over there. It pumps the water out. Comes out right up to there. Let's see if we can get in there and see through the monstera. Water comes out up there and then comes out around the creek is the filtration. So as long as we have that algae built up around the edges, it's our job and responsibility to go in and pull the algae. And when we pull the algae, we just throw it in the soil. And when we throw it in the soil, that's feeding the biology, all the fish waste, along with the algae, which is just photosynthetic. So it eats light, so it photosynthesizes. So anything that photosynthesizes is good to get into your soil, because that's adding carbon to your soil. And the best kind of carbon is carbon that's being built by the sun. So our lights and the plant are building all these things, and that's how we're, along with everything, all the growing grass, everything that's green, has got chlorophyll in it, the ivy. We've diversified the grasses, so we've got the creek grass, we've got the lawn grass, we've got the outdoor grass, we've got the bush, we've got the jasmine running along the edge back there in the back, dog fennel over there in the corner. We've got dichondra grass over there with another bush, creek grass. We've got the elephant, well, I say elephant ear, but those are empress tree. It's the empress tree. This is an old empress tree we cut down, but it'll be back. There's another one we cut down, it'll be back. These are roots. All I'm after is root. I want more roots in the system because these guys come out. So all this comes out, and the roots from this stay. So I'll just come in and cut. And when we do that, we'll take all this, put it in a Canatrol, top off with our IMO and APSU super soil. So I've got this round, we're going with the APSU super soil. That's going to be back in stock come September 1st, I believe. Kind of rated his account, took all the super soil. That's what we got, popping all the seeds here. That's what's in this bed. We're going to top this bed off with that and our IMO, which is our fungal dominant. Here's some mushrooms right there growing. So we made this ourselves. You can see mushrooms popping. Grass growing. and not getting any light just with the top on. Grass is growing, mushrooms are growing, so that's very fungal dominant. Made that myself. So we'll throw down the fungal dominance down here on top of all this. This will be food for all our IMO. Then we'll put another layer of super soil, and then we'll lay the alfalfa hay on top to cover that. And then throughout the next grow, we just chop and drop everything that comes off of here. Chop and drop, and we're basically building layers. We'll do the same process over. All this will shrink. You can see that we've disconnected. So this is sitting on top of the creek. So I've disconnected basically the wicking action. All of this was just pulling water. Without my plants wicking up all that water, we pull too much water. We have to disconnect. And this is how we disconnect. And believe me, the critters will put it back together probably faster than me. But once we get the plants back in here, we'll just push the soil back on, and it wicks water like crazy. I mean, everywhere right now we're still disconnected through here. Springtail. See that little white thing? It's springtail. You don't know what's up. He's like, what the fuck? Oh shit. Oh shit. Where do I go? Where do I go? Oh shit. Run! Here's just a worm. Tons of those. That's what turns all of this. So all of this is sitting on top of the creek wall, and it's just wicking water as the creek flows. As long as the creek flows, we're good. The creek stops, I got 24 to 48 hours probably before bad things start to happen. You know, because this is the filtration. So you can see the roots are super clean now. They're starting to, that's a great sign actually right there. See those white roots? That is a great fucking sign. It just tells me that water is greatly improved. Greatly improved. So you can see the snails build up. You know, water on my fucking hand now. See the snails? All those little black dots are snails. We're missing our shrimp up here in the creek, but I have a feeling they'll be back. It's our job to pull this stuff out and just feed it to the soil. That's what I like to do, just feed that shit to the soil. Hope everybody enjoyed the show yesterday. I watched it all today. It was a good, great show. Tons of information. Everybody knocked it out the park. Next week's guest, I'm super excited about. Chris Trump's going to be our guest next week. Then we got Luna Whitcomb. Then we got Kevin from OK Calyx. So that'll be a lineup for the month. Let's see here. What do we got there? This thing here, I probably should have let the other stuff go a little longer because this thing is starting to change. But the turp has definitely changed. It's sweeter now, not as funky. I don't know if that's just because of the little buds or... Stuff I got in the canitrol was funky. I know that stuff over there. I mean, I brought it in the house. My wife wasn't home. She came home. She was like, "You put new stuff in there, didn't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "I smell it." I was like, "Yeah." All the tops. Cheers, everyone. Pooter says, "What's up?" Scooter says, "What's up?" What's up, Scoot? Looking good, girl. Look at the pattern. Doesn't it look like two eyes, like a face, almost like a, it's like a damn dragonfly face or something. Yeah, that's cool. Your water's crystal clear today, girl. Looking good. Cooter over here. You looking good too, buddy. Uh-oh. I heard the door open. It only means one thing. Johnny. Johnny has graced us. Is it hot outside? Yeah, I thought so. You can hang out in here for a minute. Just can't leave that open. Hot out there, ain't it? Huh? Is it hot? Did you bring any ticks in here? Huh? No ticks allowed. No ticks allowed, buddy. Is that one right there? No, it's just dirt. Alright. You're clean. Clean enough for me anyway. What's everybody got going on this evening? It's Friday evening, depending on where you are. Ooh, looks like I let in a wasp. That ain't no black soldier fly. That thing got legs. That thing dangling legs. Let's see if we can find Digger over here. Or Monstera. Something's taking place here. It's falling down. What's happened? That's what's happened. I got this old canistock here, and you can see where it is just hanging on there. You have fallen down and slid up there, tearing yourself up. Not cool. We need something else. What happened to my line? Oh shit, it broke. That's what happened. That's what happened. My line broke. Yeah, it snapped all the way. I need to go get me some more string here. $20 minutes left to work. Nice. Guess I need something cut that way. No, don't suck that there. I need a paper towel. Protection. Man, you don't get out of my way. We got repairs to do. Get our asses back here. Oh no, it didn't break. What was I looking at? I'm looking at this. I need another one either way. Open up this thing here. Pull y'all up here. Set you down. Can't move that table, but let's see if I can. There we go. All right. Let's see where we need this thing here. Yeah, this is strong. Yeah, let's see if I can pull this. Now I need more string. Alright, we are back up in action, huh? Bring this thing on down. Maybe. So, we got support now. Just wrapped a paper towel around it. Left plenty of room. That'll work for now. Got a new leaf. This one's going to be, jeez. Yeah. How you doing? Another nice leaf you got there. Look at the fractures in that. This thing is fucking enormous. Saw some scale bugs on this too. I just took a little bit of Lost Coast plant therapy and put it on a paper towel and rubbed the leaves where I saw them, and then removed the scale bug and then wipe the leaf. I had seen some over here. When I see them, I just remove them. I don't see, well, wait a minute, right here. There's, see if I can get them to focus. There they are. See, there's two scales. Those are scale bugs. They will take over, but they're easy to get rid of. They're soft shell. They don't have a hard shell at all. They will just basically pop. Oops, sorry. And once they're gone, I don't see too many more. It's like they just come and go. It's weird. I'm usually going to get out of here soon. Probably could take them right now. Got room for these. I don't want them to re-veg. Which they will do, because we're at 15 hours of light. So everything's on a time frame now. So we just got to keep an eye on them. Hopefully we got 5 days left in the canitrol, and then those can be cut. Hopefully they won't re-veg in, 5 days or so. I think we got usually 2 weeks before we go to re-veg. Let me look at your comments here. I haven't looked yet. Yeah, bud trainer ties do work well, but I don't buy shit. If I can help it, it's not that I don't buy anything, but I don't try and buy things that I can just use, like what I have around the house. Like I got twine, I got mono fishing line, which doesn't affect the light all that much. Wild watercress, yeah. This grass works pretty well. Not sure exactly what they call it. It just showed up. I didn't plant it. So obviously it wanted to be here. And it does well in the creek. We can see it growing in the creek. So this is where we were last time, right before we crashed. And then I killed off all that. Yeah. Sorry, I sent an email. Yeah, okay. Joshua tree here is slowly coming into a, look like a cactus. What are you doing? What do you want? Say hi, Johnny. What does Johnny want? Hmm? You're not getting up in here with me. You're not getting up in here with me. No, no, no. Johnny, what have you gotten into? What have you gotten into? You look wet. All right. Animal. How many of you let your dogs and cats run around in your grow room? Huh? You don't care, do you? Open door policy in here anyway. I know that looks like shit, but maybe I could take some scissors and just cut the flaps, basically. But look at the roots. Good Lord. Look at the roots. This is from like run 2, I think. This one, I think this is the land race. This was the land race that was right there. Guess we don't need that in here anymore. But we can just leave it for shits and giggles. How about that? I'm looking for a digger. And we got to put in some soil here, but I'm not quite ready to do that yet. Kind of waiting. I'm trying to do that all at once. Where are you at, digger? Oh, I see him. There he is over there. I'll have to go over there. Well, I don't know if I can reach him from here or not. Set y'all down for a second. Come here, Dick. He's sleeping. He was asleep. He's like, what the fuck? Eyes are still closed. He's like, what the hell? Come on over here. Open up your eyes, Dick. There you go. There you go. There's my balls. He's waking up. He's like, woke me up. Okay, he's wiping himself off. He's like, damn it. I was sleeping good. Sorry, buddy. We're live, though. Everybody wants to see you. Get you some water. You can haul ass back to the cave. haul ass back to the bat cave. Fuck them all up. Alright, so we got this still running. Still no water in our trap hole. I know you can't see it, but this is how it works. I don't know if you can see it or not. You can see the soil sitting on the top of the clay layer. And then the clay layer sits on top of the sand silt. Yeah, Johnny's my boy. He's a rescue. He's actually one of 4,000 beagles that were rescued from a puppy mill here in Virginia in 2021 in Culpeper County. Government came in. You can see. Let me show him your numbers. Show him your prison. This is why his name is Johnny, because his name had Johnny Cash, because he broke out of prison. Come here. Give me your damn numbers. Show me your numbers. There are your numbers. Look, and I even found a tick. Showing your numbers. That's what you were hiding. That's what you're hiding. You don't want me to get it. I see it, though. I see it. I got it. Look at that bastard. No ticks allowed. It's warfare out here. That's right. And I don't spray nothing on my dogs. I don't give them no pills, none of that crap. I don't think that shit's, especially for ticks. I don't know. Every dog I've ever given it to gets lumps all over the skin and shit. So I just give up on that and take over myself. Look at myself when I get in the shower. I'm gonna look for my dogs too. So, you know, if I see a tick, I get it. Fleas, on the other hand, it's just a good bath, which y'all get anyway, most of the time, or else y'all be a freaking mess. I don't mind dogs in the house, but you gotta take care of them, or else it'll turn into a dog house. That's a good sign. Getting a little water there. Now I'm starting to see algae. Starting to see algae. It's only been running for what, almost about 20 days now. Going on 3 weeks. It's been running non-stop. So, plus that's why the tomato plant looks kind of droopy, because we flooded it. You know, we had water down here multiple times, and we had to shut it down. If we had water down there, that means the water that's being wicked up from the bottom is too much. With no plants in here, the water is just going to basically saturate the soil, kind of basically makes to where things can't breathe too well. And when you can't breathe too well, you kind of shut down. But this tomato plant is sucking some water now. It's starting to get bigger. It's going to start to wick some of that excess water up. All the grasses are starting to come. You know, once I get these, got some dichondra coming. So these will, you can see all the grass is starting to grow. So once the grass starts to grow, that will wick up a lot of this water, this excess water we got. Looks like dichondra. And we may need to put a little water here and there in places that we don't. don't get too much water. I don't want the grass to die right there. You got a little green patch right there. Needs a little water. This is connected right here. This is the only spot that's connected in the whole pond right now. You can see it's keeping all of this moist. So just that line right there will water all of this. And that was my biggest, you can see the difference. That's where it kind of cuts off. It's moist, dry. You can see how it just comes down and goes to a certain point. But it'll keep all of this section all the way out into here at the top moist. And then the worms will come in. When the worms start rocking the day, it'll turn all of this into worm castings. And then we'll just replenish, top it off. If we need more water over here, we can just pile up more sand and silt, connect it to the creek. It'll wick it right on in. We can maintain it. Like once I see that there's no water, it's dried up over there in my hole, I know that there's not a whole lot of water down in the E horizon. So I'm wicking at that water. I can connect it, and I'll keep connecting it until I see water in my hole over there. Once I got the reservoir filled, it'll just wick water up. It's just basically like you would do an earth box, except I'm not filling it from the hole over there. I'm wicking that fish waste water up out of the pond. I'm letting all this biology do its thing, and then letting it build up enough to turn all of this into worm castings, while still wicking all that water up out of the creek. It's got all the nitrates in it that helps plants grow. So, just like here, this is what that looks like. This is what happens. Look at the earwigs. So this is what, over there, this is what it used to look like. Until these guys, and the root, you see the roots running all through it? Those are grass roots, the earwig, worms. Yeah, it's all in the canitrol. Look at that earwig. Monster. Look at the freaking fangs on it. Ah! Attack of the earwig. Yeah, I got all of it is in the canitrol for the second run. So basically I filled the canitrol, dried it in the canitrol, put it in grow bags. Now I'm in grow bags with VB Cure Pack. And I cut again. I cut all the tops off of this one. Fill the canitrol up again. I want to wait another 4 or 5 days, dry it, put it in grow bags, put all this. And I'm doing a little bit of experiment too. So I added in a little bit of warm white to the Grandmasters. And I'm going to ripen those up a little bit more than what I did the others. And I'm going to keep track of which one I like the best. So we're at day 81 right now. And we cut at 80. So it's only been a day. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. So I've got some that I cut at day 80, and I'm going to have some that I cut at like day 85, 86, and see which one I like the best. Fun little time, That's what this whole experiment is about. I didn't build all of this just to grow cannabis. I built it to experiment, to educate myself, and hopefully some other people who want to be educated along the way with me, because I don't know everything. God knows I'm not even close. I just build things, and then I hope I can run into people who know how to use them. I mean, I know some, but when it comes down to microscopy and the science and chemistry, chemistry is just beyond me. I'm dyslexic, so I don't read very well. I have to listen to audiobooks. That's how I learned all of that. That's how I got here, was listening to YouTube. I'm YouTube University. 6 years in. I've learned a few things. I've had aquariums my whole life. Sort of like we've always had, once I learned the E-horizon, once I learned that we could basically create a reservoir underneath our pond. The reservoir is underneath the pond and the creek. The whole bed is basically a big pond, a big reservoir where water can be stored. And then the clay layer on top of that, and then the soil, just like outside. If you were going to go drill for a well, you would drill through your organic matter. I'd build my house, come over here and drill down until I got to the aquifer, which is down there on bedrock. Same principle. And we're just going to wick that water out of the creek and utilize it in the soil, and come to find out, the soil really, really likes being moist and wet, and especially when that moisture has all kinds of shit in it, like turtle shit, fish shit, shrimp shit, clam shit, any kind of shit you want. We got shit. It is a shit loop. Then that shit gets wicked up. God knows what in the chemistry world's going on down in here, but it gets wicked up. Worms turn all of this. The roots hold all the sand, silt, and clay that's been turned into worm castings and soil now, basically. The roots hold together, creating aggregates. We can then connect these to the soil where these just extend right on. Look at all the worm castings. All the critters just turn everything into shit. It is a big shit loop. And then the plants produce the energy and the sugars that all these critters need. Microscopic, not like isopods and earwigs and worms. That's one level. And you go down to the next level where you can't see, and you get into the protozoa and the arthropods and all the good thing, all the shit you can't see. Fungi, bacteria. I don't know all that stuff. That's why I'm learning. That's why I started the show, Soil Discoveries, every Thursday at 6 o'clock. For anybody who wants to try and learn this stuff, I've piled up some really, really bright minds. And I'm trying to pick their brain, whether or not I can keep up or not. Well, I know that's another thing. But if I keep hearing it over and over and over again, it'll stick. And light bulbs go off, and we get shit like this. And then next thing you know, somebody's built something else that puts this to shame, works twice as well, and then I'll learn from them. And that's how the cycle goes. It's a cycle. Everything's about cycling. Whether you cycle the right way or not, sometimes you might have to turn around and go back, start over. But they all love rocks. Look at the size differential. That's a yellow stripe right there, isopod. That's a dairy cow isopod with some babies running around. They're different types. You can see all the roots, how moist it is. We don't water. We never water. That's the key thing about this, is that you don't have to water. Everything stays moist, especially where it connects. Look at the moss here, where we just placed it there and it's just starting to grow new moss. Now eventually, I did this once before when I first started, and the worms end up running through it all and end up devouring the moss, and eventually it just disappears into the worm casting world. But then all this creek, I forget the name of this stuff. This spreads, enters the creek, throws roots into the creek, as you can see, which help filter the water. So that's how I get away without a filtration box. Any type of filtration is using the roots, just letting them lay here and suck the nitrates. You can see the root hairs coming off, and the algae coats it. We do have to pull algae. We can't let it overtake, but the algae has its importance, for sure. If we lose that, we lose our photosynthetic bacteria. Look at all that oxygen being built. Look at that. Talk about putting dissolved oxygen into your water. Cycling it on through. And the lights give it power. That's what that algae is doing, is eating light. It eats light. Photosynthesizing, just like these plants. That stuff does the same thing, but in water. So what do you think it's doing to our water quality? Good things. When we get the water quality right, the grass starts to turn green again. We fucked with the lights and crashed it. And we know now not to do that. We know now not to mess with the lights too much, or at least stay away from the far red. Far red in this system is unnecessary. We do not need it. It is non-beneficial to what we are trying to achieve, that is for sure. Some people like it in the mornings for about 15 minutes or so, but I tell you, 15 minutes of that stuff in the creek for the algae is devastating. It's like a laser beam hitting them at that type of wavelength. It's a tight, shorter wavelength, almost like a laser beam. That's kind of how I describe it to myself. Just down here, freaking laser beaming my algae and my photosynthetic bacteria and killing off all my good stuff. And it didn't take long for everything to brown up and go to shit, including the plants. So this is what I'm doing. I'm just kind of aerating. This helps get airflow. I'm not really tilling. I'm doing intelligent tillage. I'm getting organic matter down into the soil, helping these guys do their job with a little bit more oxygen, getting down in there. And trust me, they'll get it back to where it was within a few days. Here's the old root. This will not last long, I promise you. This thing right here will be devoured. I can already feel it's getting loose. It won't take long. Now that we've killed it, basically cut its head off, now all the roots become food. We just leave them right there and they will get devoured completely within about a few months. Here's actually a piece of an old stalk from the last canna. This is what happens to it. It just turns to dust. So that's the type of biology we got. If you got good fungi and isopods, eat wood. Fungi eat wood. That's the old canna stalk from a couple rounds ago. So all that's just right back into the soil. Everything goes back into the soil that we don't take out of here. Well, most everything. Not everything, but most everything. We don't want to suffocate. Oh, I don't want to suffocate. This is what I like to do, just push down some of this algae into the soil. Let it get down in there. Anything about the fungal connections and all that stuff, and not, like I said, that stuff heals. It'll grow. It grows. It's almost like trimming, like your hair cut. You know what I mean? Like it's like getting rid of off your deadheads and letting the others grow. It actually grows better. Like prune your rose bushes, prune your tomato, pruning anything. I believe that if you prune your fungal connections, just like what I'm doing, kind of like a golf course, aerates its greens. Keep the greens super nice because they need it and get compacted, not just from the golfers, but from worms coming up from the bottom, turning all that sand that they're sitting in into worm castings, and then that you need to throw sand back down, fill those holes that you just put in, get that sand down in the soil. It's a pretty cool process if you know anything about golf. Now greens are kept. My buddy used to work on one. Plus nobody likes putting on a freshly aerated green. But it must be done. You still got some moisture going, look at that. And some algae. But soil, look at the worms. Soil looks really good. Good looking stuff. Diversity. That's what they keep saying. Diversity, diversity. Get some diversity. How do we do on the diversity? And we got some diversity. Got motherfucking diversity. Look at that thing. Stupid. I don't know. It's probably just gonna keep going and going. I do see this little spot here, right? One thing I do see though, I did see some, like I said, I saw some scales down there, but I got rid of most of those. Had some on the leaves up there. Not really looking like they were hurting anything. They just, when they get on here, they leave this slime, like, see that sugary substance? That stuff needs to be cleaned off. Kind of like an aphid does, or those ants or whatever. Whoops. Yeah, where's that one down there? So they're all dead. Which one is it? The ants put down the sugar. The aphids put down the sugar for the ants to eat, or the ants put down the sugar for the aphids to eat. Something like that. One of y'all smart motherfuckers knows that shit. Put it in the comments. What's up, Johnny? Huh? What are you stretching? That's all you do is lay around. Huh? What are you doing? I thought if I said you want a biscuit, you'd go get up. Huh? So no, Dad, it's too hot. Too hot outside. Cold floor. Yeah, the ants have heard the aphids like cattle. Yeah, yeah, that's it. That's right. Something like that. AI that stuff if you don't believe. And if you need to know on a need to know basis. Pretty sure you got a smartphone in your hand. That's what I do. What do you think, Scoop? Coop? Poop? I left you some grass in there. Maybe I'll have to chomp on that. Cut all this, topped it basically, topped that down there. Basically got that all cleaned out. Water's flowing pretty good. Looks clean. Been running for a year and 7 months now. One water change during the crash, but I don't think if I hadn't crashed it, I don't think I would have had to have done a water change. There was one water change at the crash that we had to do. We're back now, and hopefully we won't have to do another. All we do is just dump in the fresh dehu water. It's just constantly dripping in. Whatever it's pulling out, it drips back in. And that's how we top off. Once we get new plants in here, it'll wick up all that extra water. And we'll be off to the races again. But we're going to top off first. We're going to take the APSU super soil, top it off, and then throw our mulch down. We got IMO 5, it's super fungal. We got this in here, been sitting here for months. You can see we got mushrooms popping. So that is homemade IMO 5. It's got rabbit poo. It's got soil. It's got alfalfa hay, Timothy hay, rabbit shit, and then all the fungus you see come from around an oak tree, which is where all the soil came from, which is where that fungus was. So we didn't have to add it at all. We just basically raked it up around the oak tree, put it in there, added the rabbit shit along with her bedding, rabbit bedding, which is Timothy hay and alfalfa hay. And then we added some humic acids and some JLF and some lactic acids and some fish amino acid. And that's about it. Pour it in there, let it get hot for about 5-6 days, and then it cools down, and then the fungus starts to work, and then, you know, that's been about 2 months ago now. You can see all the white fungus growing, so that's going to go in here, and then the super soil, and then on top of super soil we'll plant, this is all in super soil, so when we transplant, when we pick the ones we want, because we can't grow all of these, but when we get the ones we want, which is going to be the strongest ones, we're just going to pull them out of there, put them in here, maybe put 1 or 2 over here, and let them rock. We won't have to do anything from there, but make sure that they are, we might do some foliar feeding, but if we're foliar feeding, it's probably with like some lab or some microbes. We got microbes plus, we got purple non-sulfur bacteria here, which is great foliar. You know, anytime you can get anything that photosynthesizes on your plant, you're, good Lord, man, you're going to notice a difference, I promise you. you're going to notice a difference. Microbe Plus, same thing. It's got lactic acid bacteria, photosynthetic bacteria, and fermented yeast. Pretty much the same, but not quite as good as, as the purple non-sulfur. Purple non-sulfur is like cat's ass. You can get your hands on some of that, which Mo over at Agro Soil probably hook you up. Foliar feeding with that is next level because it photosynthesizes. What more can I say? It's building carbon. It's energy. And that's what we need to build terpenes. And that's what we want. Terpenes and flavor. That's what it's all about. And that takes energy. Yay. Energy. Yay, energy. Like giving them a Red Bull. Give your plants some Red Bull and watch them frost. They're not going to be here very long anyway. It's not like we're growing them like a bush. Like I'm pruning it every day. This is gone in 4 months. I'm going to hit it with everything I can. Especially when it comes to biology. Because in the light, if you get that right, you get the light right, get the biology right, it's game over. Game over. I don't care what. You can put it in pretty much a shitty environment. And you got your soil right, you got the microbes right, you got your light right. You can be within 70 degrees, 80 degrees, 90 degrees. It's growing. It's going to grow. And they will look pretty when they grow. This was the runt of the litter too. This thing right here, I almost cut it out at the beginning. It didn't flower. It took a week extra for me to even see pistils coming on this plant. When I was seeing pistils on everything else, this one was just still in veg. And all of a sudden it just said, okay, I'm ready. And here it is. One of the funkiest ones in here. It smells like baby shit and milk. Like raw milk and baby shit. And extremely sticky. Seems like it changes every day too. Like yesterday it was more of like I would say like a black licorice almost. Today it smells like baby shit. After the baby's eating applesauce or something. Because I ain't growing sugar leaf. And I know a lot of people are like, well, that helps push terpenes. I don't believe that at all, because I get much better results when I take all those big ass sugar leaves off and let all the light hit the bud. All the energy from the plant going directly to the bud. I don't want it going to the leaf, especially the big fan leaves. At this point, at this stage of growth, why do you even need that sugar leaf? I want the bud to photosynthesize. I want all these leaves, not this big fan leaf covering up my bud that can't get to the flower. And this is why they put under canopy lights in there, and everybody's like, oh yay, I got 30% more fucking flower. No shit. No shit. You got more light. You're taking off some of them sugar leaves. You're going to be getting more light from above down on top. Fold them over. Let the light hit underneath the flower. You know, you can see the difference. No light. Light. Frosty. Not so frosty. Frosty. Not so frosty. It's all about light. at this point. I mean, that's just my opinion, and that's what I do. Yeah, of course it's all indoors. You're gonna be running lights outdoors. No offense, but in my experience, it ain't much experience either. So take it as you will. You take what you want, leave what you don't want. This is how I do it. But what I see is it's all about light, getting to the flower. At this point. Now, I slowly pick off sugar leaves. I don't do them all. A lot of people defoliate all at one time. And if you've been following along, you'll know that I don't do that. Like, these flowers get picked a little a day until they're done. Like, so I'm slowly plucking the leaves off. I'm not traumatizing the plant. These are living things. So it's kind of like a haircut every day. I'm just giving it a haircut, a trim every day. So every day I come in, it's a trim, 4 or 5 leaves. Go on to the next plant, 4 or 5 leaves. Then the next day, and then the next day. And I'm doing it strategically. Like, I'm not making it all on one side. I'll do one here, one there. Kind of like if you were a beautician or a hairstylist, you don't get shaved all on one side unless you want to. So usually they fade you up on both sides, make it all nice and even. That's how I like to keep my plants. Keep them nice and even until I get to this point where I'm cutting and they're basically ready to go into the canitrol when I cut. Plus, all those wounds that have happened from the defoliation have a chance to heal on the plant. Because if you cut the whole plant, you're basically, that's it. You're done. So I would hang dry just like this. No sugar leaf. If I was going to hang dry, like no canitrol, my plant would look just like this. When I cut, I'd hang it up in a corner, shut the lights off, and let her sit here for a couple weeks. Appreciate that, Twisty. Thank you. Appreciate it, everybody who showed up. But yeah, that's how I'm not doing anything that anybody hasn't ever seen before other than this system here. But when it comes to the canna, it's the same. Some people do it, some people don't. It really depends on what you want, how you want to do it, what your environment's like. Like in here, less leaf is better because I get more circulation. I have a lot of other plants in here taking up a lot of other CO2, a lot of, most people just have these plants, canna plants taking up CO2. I have everything in here, but I also have the algae producing. You know what I mean? So it's a give and take system, which I'm still learning, by the way. But when it comes to the leaf, I get bigger, denser, harder nugs down through here when all that leaf is gone. You get the terpene profile is insane. You get better coverage. That's because it takes energy to make terpenes. Everything else has been done by now. You know what I mean? All the chemical processes to make the terpene have been done. At this point, it's all about light. And how much can you get to it without pissing it off? Without burning them up? There is this thing called too much light. But you get it just right, man, they will fucking turf up on you. It tastes delicious. And harden up on you too. Like I said, this is a runt. This was the runt of the whole field. It took forever. Look at those orange pistils. Almost looks like we gotta make sure we don't go into re-veg with the light. But Still got white pistils on these. Like I said, this was the last. This one I was expecting to have this one go another week, week and a half. Once those pistils, those white hairs turn orange like that, that's when I'm pretty close. You can still see some white ones though. But when they turn all orange, that means most of everything is cloudy on the inside, and I like cloudy. I don't like a lot of amber. I don't like being on the couch. I like smoking. I like being able to come in here and activate and do things and still be able to go about my day. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like a good heavy hitter at like 10 o'clock at night, put me to sleep. But most of the stuff I like to smoke is on the cloudy side. It is the devil's lettuce. But we got more than just the devil's lettuce in here. We got monstera. We got the monster monsteras. We got some basil. We got tomato. We got some cucumbers going, some squash, carrots, spinach, sweet potato. Our new devil's lettuce is popping to go, getting ready. But this is the food garden. This is our one pump system, pumping it up down through there. This has only been about 10 days running, so that's why there's nothing really in it. But eventually it'll look like this. This is a year and 7 months running. And it's been interesting. It definitely has been interesting. We've got the pond over here. Cooter and Scooter and Pooter bringing in the shit, and we pump that shit up into the creek and let that run through the creek as filtration. And that's all the filtration this pond has is the creek. So there's no filter box, there's nothing like that. It's all being wicked up by the plants that are all along the edges. And then the algae catches the fish waste, and then we take the algae and just pull it out when we need to and throw it in our soil and let the critters eat. It's just food. Food for our isopods and earwigs, and springtails, and road beetles, skinks, lizards. You know we got a family of skink in here. If you don't know what a skink is, it's a lizard, outdoor lizard, got a blue tail, usually blue stripe up the spine. You can grab them by the tail and they'll pull off. Where am I? I'm in my garage. Sponsored by APSUsoil.com. Right, Johnny? No, I'm in Virginia. I'm in Virginia. Stretch it out, buddy. You ready to go outside? Alright, peace out. And we've got this pond over here. We only have one fish in right now, and she's hard to find. But we are building algae in here. I see some algae building up. So it's about time to get some fish. They'll eat the algae. We'll get some shrimp in here. We'll get some freshwater clams. Then we'll bring in the big fish, which are going to be crappie and bluegill, which will be food fish. I love me some good canned fish like crappie, bluegill. Just fry them up whole. And then we'll be able to pick our tomato, pick our squash, pick our cucumber, maybe some spinach, sweet potato, some starch, and go set it on the grill and have a full meal right here out of the garden. And then I can, after the meal, I can go over to this garden, pick me some flour out of a can of troll. It's been dried and cured nicely, and have a nice little smoke. Wouldn't that be nice? Oh, look. Oh, look. What is that? That's a newbie. A noob. What are you? You're like some type of invasive vine or something. Probably some type of invasive ivy or some shit. But your roots are welcome here, my little bastard son. Welcome to the gang. We pulled our Monstera back. Got some padding around so we don't hurt her too bad. But some of those roots go into the pond there and work their way on around, all the way around through there, back around through there. Hey, there's Plinko. What's up, Plinko? Named after, yes, The Price is Right. Still go watch The Price is Right up at the nursing home with my grandma every once a week. And that is Plinko. Plinko algae eater. Getting big. What are you looking at? That's what I thought. Carry your ass. What's up, Peter? Poot's a big goldfish. And yeah, it's Pooter. Because he shits a lot. Waiting on a worm. Waiting on something. They ate yesterday. They got nuggets yesterday. They don't need to eat again for probably like 2 or 3 days. You can't feed them too much. They come up here and they like to bask right here. This is the basking area. They'll come right on up that log here and lay right here. I saw them both here when I walked in here this afternoon. I heard them boosh, boosh. So they get plenty of light, plenty of heat. Digger over here, he's still a baby. He doesn't need a light right now. He's getting, if he needs it, he comes right over into this area where he gets water. His water bowl is here. He can get through. That's Marco's pass, so he can just go right underneath here and get into this area and climb on in if he wanted to. I have seen him over here up on the log, so he knows where everything is. Most of the time now, since he's a baby, he digs himself up in a little corner and goes to sleep. And I have to wake him up when we have company. This Monstera is looking good. This one is going to go this way. I'm going to run this one up the wall here. And what I'm going to do is, this rock here actually can be moved. And this is the entranceway for Digger. But we just need to, what I'm thinking about doing is creating like a pass, like putting this up here like this, and just where they can go under it. And then fill this all in with dirt, create like a mound here where you can just, excuse me, where they can walk on up in here. And we got lip underneath here, so you can't get up here. Got that blocked off up there, so hopefully one day we'll get the bridge built. And then the panel over there. Actually, the bridge will go right here. and then it'll crawl on, and then go onto that log there. That log will go down into the water when we find something else to put down there. But that log will come out, come up to here, a little bridge, come over the creek. We'll be able to walk on around down into here. He'll probably stay over here though. That's his home. This is plenty big. Yeah, the grasses are looking good. Oh, look at that guy. Look at that guy. How'd you get there, buddy? Oh, you know what? That's the one. That's the missing one over here. That's the missing one. So we did have 100% germination rate. I forgot I put it over there. What a happy surprise. The grass is starting to grow nicely. It looks like some dill right there. Got this down here growing. Nice everywhere. This is just a chemi pure pad. Gotta get wet. Gotta give it to the soil over here. Some grass growing over here. So we're gonna fill this in. You see there's a big gap here. So all this is gonna get soil. All this is gonna get topped off. Just top off right over on top of the grass. Grass will go right up to it. Of course, we won't cover this little guy here. Let's see if it makes it. I'm glad I missed the, yeah, forgot all about that. That was my ADHD going up there. Well, that's about all we got. Look at that wasp flying around in this bitch. Yeah. Fucking long-legged motherfucker. Anything that dangles its legs behind it while it flies is creepy to me. How did what get over here, Galaxy? What, Canna? Oh, it got over there by me. I just forgot I did it. I remember putting the seed over there. When I was putting this in, I took a seed and set it over there and forgot I did it. I'm pretty sure it's the huckleberry. Because I see all the way, I put 6, 6, 7, 7, and I see 5, 6, 7, 7, and I got one over there. So that's probably the seed that it was going to go over here. And I just said, let's put one over there for shits and giggles. And forgot I put it over there. I do that a lot. I like happy surprises. Like I'm one that will buy a like Clark Griswold, buy the Christmas gift and then stash it up in the attic and forget, and go back a couple years later and be like, oh yeah, hell yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Why not? It looks like it's got a good home. Got fresh soil, got fresh water, got fresh everything. Brand new lights, brand new home. I planned on putting 1 or 2 over there. I'll put a few over here, just so we can see the difference, you know. I know this side over here is going to perform pretty well because it's got brand new super soil in it. It's got living soil and super soil. And we're going to be topping off with the fresh super soil, APSU super soil. And so that's what we planted the seeds in. That's what I'm just going to transfer right into. Top it off with some IMO down here. It's fungal dominant. You can see our mushrooms popping. Mushrooms. We got grass already growing in here. Yeah, this has been sitting here for a minute. She's loaded up with all the good stuff. So this is nothing but like biology and food for all the critters that are just waiting to get topped off with the new food. They've worked through all of this. You know, all of this has been worked. All of this is plant available now. We're going to top all this off with some fresh. We're going to put fresh sand and silt on top of here just simply by sprinkling it on. We sprinkle on and watch the worms go to town. They love it. They love the sand and silt. And the roots will run through all that. Game over. Game over. As long as you maintain your lights and your water, we're good to go. We got a volunteer cannabis show, yeah. Yeah, this is a cactus plant right here. This is a Joshua tree. So you notice it's sitting right by the creek. It is in a pot though, so that's why it's still in a pot. So you can put them side by side. Just put your cactus or your canna in a pot, or your cactus is not, unless you're outdoors and you can't do that. But yeah, the cactus definitely doesn't need the water that everything else needs. But I know these roots are through the pot and getting water from the creek. And it's been non-stop. I mean, it grows very slow, but it is growing. Started it from seed. We'll see. It is a tree, so. But I never water it. I never water the pot. It's just got sand, pea gravel in it. Never gets watered. Pretty cool. Some peyote, yeah. Never had peyote. Always wanted to try it, but them days are over. I ain't trying it now. Not at 50. My brain's had enough. Brain has had enough. Quit drinking 4 years ago. Yeah, it was time. I did all that knowing that I was going to get old and was going to have to quit sooner or later. Like my 20s and 30s. Yeah, I did all that. I didn't get around to the peyote though. That's only because I never had access to it. If I had access to it, believe me, I would have done it. I would have done it for sure. We'd have been some peyote blasting motherfuckers. Just over here rubbing. Sorry, I was over here rubbing this tree here. Didn't realize I was had the camera. Man, that has got a piney, fruity, piney type thing going on in the stem row. Like a heavy pine. But that's not what I get in the flower. In the flower I get, of course these are just little popcorns, but Wow, I mean, it's a sweet, funky baby shit type thing going on. Kind of like that one there. It's got a baby shit going on, but maybe that's the same thing I'm smelling. That's baby shit is kind of like an applesauce baby shit. Processed applesauce. Ooh, Chem 91 and skunk. Well, this is lunar Chem, so this has got some Chem in it. And that's kind of like, I guess that's the baby shit type thing going on. Kind of funky. This one's more of a black licorice type funk going on. I don't know, I got my sense of smell is all fucked. Oh, I gotta go get my fans. Fans for cleaning. Clean the fans earlier. What the? Y'all hear that? Yeah, that's what I thought. You thought it was somebody else, didn't you? Give me that. Where'd you get that? Where'd the can come from? Give me that. That's not good for you. Come here. Come here. Where'd you get that? I mean, you put some holes in it. What are you, a freaking can opener? Jeez. Fucking can opener Johnny. Oops. Sorry about that. I had to clean the fans though. Take care of your stuff. Old school AC Infinity. Old school AC Infinity. I bought these back when I had a tent going. And they, yes, they do. Click, 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 click. Johnny's a can man, yeah, Johnny's a can man, alright. I don't even know where that can came from. Looks like next door neighbor shit. He must have ran over there. Where did I have this one? This one went up here. Get in there. Yeah. Clean. There it is. Put it over here on this side. Nope. I know one of these clicked. Yeah. You know, recognize that? I'm not trying to diss on them, but I need new fans. If anybody knows somebody from AC Infinity, or fan company. This one wants to sometimes, and then doesn't other times. So just set them like I want them and leave them. There we go. We got airflow. See good airflow everywhere. The Monstera flipping around. You got the Lucky Bamboo flickering. See airflow down there, so that's good. Just need air at the bottom and top. See my dicons are blowing in the wind. Everything gets good airflow, top and bottom. Appreciate it. Please prove how many ounces does it produce. Depends on what you put in here. I mean, it's my 5th run. First run I got just under 3 pounds with 3 lights. I'm trying to do a pound a light. That's usually the average if you get a good plant. You know what I mean? You get a good plant, like a big plant like that, or you can do, 4 plants usually under 1 light. Maybe 5 plants under 1 light, maybe 6 plants under 1 light, who knows? And usually you can get close to a pound if you know what you're doing. Some people get more, some people get less, depending on what you're growing. Really about genetics when it comes to, the size of the plant. Like that was a runt, how big that one. That one over there was not. This one was not a runt, just didn't get that big. That one over there was, I've already topped that and filled the canitrol up once. And I've still got enough there to probably come close to filling the canitrol again off of 1 plant. So I know that's easy, pound coming off that plant, dry. But I'll show you. I'll get it all dry, get it all in a grove bag, and bring it in here and put it on a scale. I ain't scared. I'll show you exactly what we got. Of course, I'm going to smoke a little bit of it, but I might lose a little bit of weight. But once it's dry, I put it in grove bags, put it back in the canitrol just for storage. But canitrol only holds so much of dry flower, so you just put it in a grove bag, keep the grove bag open, and just fill. You put a pound. You put like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably like 7, 8 pounds in the damn canitrol if it's all in grove bags. If it's not in grove bags, it'll hold about 2 pounds of dry weight. It'll hold about 4 pounds of wet weight, which you think is a lot, but wet, depending on how big your buds are, you can get a pound pretty quick. You gotta think, a pound ain't that much, especially a wet flower, big buds. We're excited about these though. We got some Paradise Pine from Huckleberry Hill. Got some Blue Jasmine, which looks awesome on pictures, from APSU, which is our sponsor. We've got some taproot, madness genetics, citrus craze, and then I've got Riz Berry, which is RS11 times Crimea Junkie, which I'm excited about this one. This is from Hyrule Genetics. This was sent me a letter with this saying he wanted some freebies and some testers, and this is like something they were testing. This is one of their testers. I always like testers, and I like the RS11. I know what that is, and the Crimea Junkie I've never had, but I've heard good things. And they're in the lead right now as far as big. That one is definitely in the lead. So, and it's feminized, so we know it's a female. We hope anyway. I hope it's a female. We got our carrots popping. You didn't see that earlier. Cucumbers are popped. Squash is popped. We're waiting on spinach and cherry tomato. These are just starting us off. Like I said, this bed is brand new. So we got a long ways to go. I'll be here a long time, I hope. Anyway, this is all brand new. This is only a year and 7 months, so we're not even 2 years into this. The end of our 5th run. This will be our 6th run in this soil. This will be our first time that we'll be topping off with fresh soil. Basically, I want these plants to transfer into that same soil. So that's super soil from APSU. And I'm just going to basically put a layer of that on top of this, transfer it in, let everything just grow right down in it. I got some IMO5 over here too. We're going to lay down. Top off basically because our soil is shrinking like it should. It's just was up to here, now it's down to here. It shrinks every day due to the critters that are down here working the soil. You really see the difference in the moisture. Come over this way. Using little aerators. Get them opening it up. Like, look at springtail right there. Getting a mining, boy. They're mining. Just digging. Microbes. Microbes and shit. That's right. So all these guys that we can see, the microbes I want are in their shit. I want them to eat this organic matter. And then shit microbes. And then I want worms to run through that shit. And then shit out that shit. And then we got some really good shit. So it's all about shit. You know? When I eat food, when I eat healthy, good food, I put it in my mouth and I chew it up. It goes down this tube. It goes into this tube. And then it comes out the other end up between my ass cheeks. And that shit, that's microorganisms in it that we can use for composting. And that's where all the biology is in our shit. That's all this is. It's a fucking shit loop. A big old turd loop that everything needs to survive. Ain't that crazy? Goddamn light from the sun is, then the plant captures that light and turns it into sugar. And sugar ain't nothing but pure energy. And that energy gets pushed down into the soil, transferred into carbon and carbon. And, oh man, it's just a good old, big old shit cycle. And then a chemistry cycle, and then biology cycle. And add them all together and you get life. It's pretty cool. Pretty complicated. I don't even try. Well, I take that back. I try. But I know I'm not smart enough to be an Einstein and figure all this shit out. I mean, if Einstein couldn't figure it out, I guess it'll take AI. We know most of it, but the damn biology, the bacteria and what all they do, and the nitrogen fixation, and the transfer of electrons, protons, and all kinds of crazy quantum shit going on down here. And then the microbes that's going on down in here, we don't know shit. Like maybe what, 2%? I think they say that we know 2 to 5% of what's going on in the soil when it comes to biology and what they're doing and the actions they're taking and what for and how everything connects. Pretty cool. All the roots running through that. This is finally starting to dry out. That's an aggregate. And it's tied together by roots. This holds moisture like crazy. So I'm just showing you how many roots are holding those aggregates together. The biology in this right here would be off the chain. We put this in the microscope right now, and all those aggregates hanging on are going to be packed full of life. This is what we're looking for. If you can get your soil to look like this, you're on to something. Not many people can reach down in their bed and pull out an aggregate like that. So this is what you're looking for. This is an ecosystem. This is not perlite and peat moss. This is sand, silt, clay that has been worked by biology so much, and the root system that's around it has aggregated the soil to hold moisture. So everything just imagine the root is an octopus grabbing a hold of its food and wrapping it up and working it. And now the roots can send out their exudates into these little aggregates, and the microbes come out the root hairs and mine the sand, silt, and clay that are in these aggregates, all the bacteria that's in there, and then bring it back into the root system for the plant to uptake. Super cool. Really easy, simple, but super complicated if you want it to be super complicated. But if I see this, I know we're doing good. Like that's what we want to see. And Mo would have a field day with this on the microscope. But all of these aggregates just form. And they form usually around, like this feels like some type of shell. But it's maybe a rock. Yeah, that's a rock. All these things got roots. Pretty neat how it works. See, we added some to here, and they have worked they've worked everything except for the big grains of sand. All the little grains of sand that the worms can get into their little mouths have been worked. They leave behind all that big coarse sand and rock, pea gravel, that stuff they can't get in. But all the silt and sand that's small enough that they can eat, they'll turn into the worm casting. Turn into that right there. So that used to be that. All those worm castings created by these workhorses These are dairy cow isopods. And they are workhorses, buddy. Talk about shredders. They eat organic matter. This is why it's so important to keep enough food down here for them to eat. They love to eat wood, organic matter. They mine rock. They like to eat the biology that forms on the rock. All the pea gravel, you'll see them in the water, in the creek, eating algae. You'll see them eating fish shit. They eat everything. And they shit a lot. So we got isopod frass if you need some. You selling isopod shit. Get your isopod shit, Yellow Skunk Farms. This is basically what you're looking at. Those are worm castings. Used to be sand silk clay. Look at the snail. Tell me that shit ain't fucking alive. It's a snail shell, probably freshwater snail shell. And you know, being used as a home for biology. All those little mini aggregates, they're all tiny little balls stuck together. See all the little tiny balls stuck together? All those little worm castings that just come out. And if you don't crush them, they stay aerated and they stay packed full of biology. The roots grow through that and it's on like Donkey Kong. Let's stare at, look at this for a second. Look at the life in this, just underneath that. If you put that under a microscope right now, you would see some shit. He's like, what the fuck's going on? Giant. Can you imagine being an isopod, some big hand coming down, just moving your home, picking it up and moving it? You'd be like, fuck, not again. Oh, look. I knew you'd be in there. I knew you'd be in there, buddy. Working. Look at that mouth. Working. And what he puts in his mouth comes out the other end. He's got a white head. Worm castings is worm shit. Isopod is a bug. Yes. Worms eat all kinds. Worms can pretty much, if they can get it in, they love grit. They love the silt on the edge of the creek. That fine silt, it's packed full of biology, packed full of organic matter that's small enough for them to get into their little gizzards and run through their little tube there that they got. But yeah, a worm casting is nothing but a worm turd. Packed full of, and it comes out coated in this calcium carbonate slime, so to speak. That slime is kind of sticky. You can see that it sticks together, and if you go crushing it like mud, it'll turn into mud, and then when you turns to mud, it can't breathe. When it can't breathe, you get bad stuff. But if you keep it just like it is and don't touch it, don't put pressure on it, don't squish it down, leave them in the nuggets like they are, like that, they're aerated, the worms keep running through them, the isopods run through them, and it'll stay alive. But once we smash, we cut air off, the cycle kind of has to redo itself, and yeah, it just takes longer to get the worms back. If I was to sprinkle some fresh silt where I smash down, that'll bring the worms back in. They'll eat that fresh silt, turning it into worm castings, but at the same time creating the air channels we need to re-aerate the soil. So really, we don't, the only time I really like to aerate is like when I use my rod here, which I was doing earlier. I just stick it down here, and that's it. Twist, pull, come down a little, swirl, pull, swirl, pull. That's it. That's all I do. And this is just helping aerate. And believe me, the critters get right to work on fixing what I screwed up. Kind of gives them a job. Starts them back up. Gives them something to do. This is an old plug that came from around the stalk here. So you see, we start them in these plugs. But the plug, they don't break down very fast, but they're great homes. See how porous they are? See all the biology built up on them? Fungi, great homes. So I just leave them in there. They'll get covered up and continue on. See the moisture underneath there. Yeah, it's pretty balanced right now. Right now we are, I would say, coming back from the crash. It's been a month since we crashed the system, and I'm really happy at how we recovered. I mean, I couldn't be happier, actually. Now that we crashed it, I went through the experience, and now I have the experience of going through the crash. I know what not to do, what to do to fix the crash if it ever happened again, which I don't think it will, because I won't be cooking my cyanobacteria anymore with the far reds and the deep red light. So as long as we can keep the light right, we'll keep the pond right, keep the cycle going, everything should stay in balance. And if we're in balance, everything will stay green, and everything's green means that we're doing something right. And that's all I need to know. Well, I know we had too much water over here at first, but we just got to get some plants in here, some grasses, get some things going, suck up that water. And once we get that back into balance, we'll be good to go over here. Just takes a little time, that's all. Yeah, we got earthworms in here. We got compost worms in here. Mostly earthworms in here. Well, there were some red wigglers and some IMO that I had put in here. I haven't seen too many red wigglers. There are some in here, but mostly earthworms. And the earthworms, yeah, they usually will come up. They love, I'm telling you, they love the edge of the creek. A lot of the worms will be right on the edge of the creek, or just on the inside in the soil on this side of the creek's edge. I don't see too many when I come out to this edge. They love the creek edge. It's where all the food is. It's where all the bacteria is. It's coming from the fish pond. If I need a worm, I just come in here and usually just dig up or just pull up something and find a worm, There's one right there. They love the creek's edge. The moisture is just, they're all about the moisture and the grit. They don't really need food. Yeah, yeah, all right, yeah, yeah. Yep. They, like I don't put any food scraps or anything like that. The sand, the silt, this stuff here has all the nutrients you ever want. This stuff down here, all those colors are all different minerals, different nutrients trapped in those minerals. We've just got to release. We got to break that shit down, and this is how we break it down. Naturally, over time, it takes about a few months, but eventually the worms turn that what I just showed you into this, and then it's on to the next stage of the bacteria and fungi. Then we just take some of this. You can see it's transferred over into here. That just beelines into here. Worms stay all through here doing their job. We add fresh sand, silt, and clay through here, all along top, feeding the worms again. Start the cycle over. Just kind of like you would, keep adding things to your compost pile, like food scraps and shit. Same principle. I'm just, the food scraps got minerals trapped in it, nutrients trapped in it from where the plant pulled it up from the ground. And it originally came from the sand, silt, clay, if that's where you're growing your plants in, unless you're feeding them salts and fake shit. But I don't have to feed. This is the food. This is food. This is nature's way of creating and breaking down minerals and nutrients to release to the soil, to the microbes, to the plant. And then it's up to the plant to do its photosynthesizing and exchange sugar for nutrient. That's the basics. It catches light, turns light into carbohydrates and sugars, basically, and it keeps some of those for itself, and then sends a lot of it down its root system, sending signals to microbes to go out its root hairs and mine calcium and mine magnesium and mine all these nutrients, bringing them back to the plant in liquid form so that the root can then uptake it. It's an exchange system. It's a poop loop exchange system. These guys create what these guys want. This guy creates what they want. They exchange. Pretty simple. Some plants like to exchange different things. Some plants like to exchange with one another. Some plants don't. You know what I mean? It's kind of like putting a redneck in the hood or a hood in the country. It's, you know what I mean? You're either gonna get along or you're not. Some do, some don't. Depends on what you put together. Plants are no different. Some like to be in the swamp, some don't. Some like to be in the heat, some don't. Some like no water, like this cactus right here. Some like all the water in the world. Sometimes putting two and two together works out, sometimes don't. That's just my experience. But if you do it the right way, I find that if you give both sides what they want, like what they need, and everybody's happy in the same little hub here, they'll get along just fine. As long as one's not trying to take from the other, but they shouldn't, because me as being a steward is giving both what they want, what they need, what they want, therefore they get along. If I planted this beside this without the pot, they probably wouldn't get along. They wouldn't get along at all. Pretty cool little exchange system going on. I enjoy learning about it. Yeah, Galaxy, appreciate you stopping by. Synthetic newts, yeah, synthetic newts, salts, whatever's grown in, they make it in the laboratory, you know what I mean? NPK shit, outdated stuff that they shouldn't really make anymore. They don't need it anymore. We found better ways. You know, people don't fucking go outside and wash their fucking clothes on a washboard anymore. They use a washing machine. We just found a better way. And nature's way, I believe, is the best way. If you want to get the best product, the cleanest product that is grown for human consumption and not just for getting the biggest freaking tomato that you can get with zero flavor, like you get in a grocery store. You know, yeah, I haven't found a tomato come out of the grocery store that had flavor like you would find on a produce stand coming from a farm ever. It just ain't gonna happen. Nature knows the best way, and that's what we're made for. It's, you know, we're made to eat what nature provided. We really weren't made to eat stuff coming out of, you know, processed foods. Pasteurized is, I think, is the worst thing that ever happened to humanity. I get that we needed to do it to put it on the store shelves and transport it, but that's why people grew their own food, had their own farms back in the day. And I know population is impossible, so we got to grow the right way. If people would just grow for the nutrient density of the plant instead of just getting more of the plant, we'd be a lot healthier country, a lot healthier world. Some countries in the world don't even know what pasteurized is. They're like, what? We fish. We hunt. We farm. They don't know what pasteurized is. What's that? Chicken lays the egg. We crack the egg, we eat the egg. Pretty simple. It's all in what the chicken eats, right? You feed the chicken shit, you're gonna get shitty fucking chicken. There's a time and place for shit, right? This is shit down here. But I don't want shit on my plate when I'm eating. Look at that. That amazes me how that's just being held together by all the roots. That's just sitting on top of the creek. The creek wall runs right through here. So the sand, silt, and clay runs all the way up here, and then the grass has turned it into a mat. It's wicking water up. We disconnected all through here though, because we don't have a plant over here right now, so we don't need a lot of water. And that's why I showed you this is starting to dry out a little bit. We disconnected. Which is exactly what we need had happen. Nice little aggregates. Water holding machine. Man, we've been going 2 hours, 20 minutes. It's Friday, I ain't got nothing else to do. Sit here and talk shit. Healthy soil, healthy plants. Feed the soil, not the plant. That's right, guys. Healthy soil, healthy plant, healthy human. Healthy soil, healthy plant, healthy livestock, healthy human. It's a chain. That's why they always tell you as a kid, eat a balanced diet, right? Make sure you eat a balanced diet. I don't think Doritos and chicken patties are a balanced diet. But here we are. The line at McDonald's is long, my friends. And I used to be in there. Don't worry, I've eaten my share, but I ain't putting down nobody. Sometimes it's... Look at Plinko eating, cleaning the shell. Y'all see that? It's the first time I've seen that. Hour 2, minute 23, Plinko cleaning shell of... Who are you, Scooter? You're getting big, Plinko. I mean, you're almost as big as Hooter. Hooter's like a pound. Oh, there's Molly. There's another Molly in here too, somewhere. Alright. Well, what time is it? 4:38. Okay, thought I was getting hungry. And I want to go smoke. This one's going to be fun. Yeah, baby shit. Alright guys, I'm going to head on out of here. I appreciate everybody who hung out with me for 2.5 hours. Galaxy, my friend, good to see you. And we'll see you on the other channels probably. We'll be around. Usually ain't going nowhere, so we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.